Good evening. This is Dale Lamb with Gardner-Webb University. I'd like to welcome you to our town hall meeting. I've got 6 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I see we have about 35 participants that are waiting. I believe at the bottom of your screen you'll see a place for Q&A. You can type questions in. Dr. Jeff Hamilton is with me tonight, and he'll be answering questions online while I'm speaking. There's Dr. Hamilton. He switched from his picture to a live view. It didn't improve though, so it's still the same. Well, the good thing is
I'll make it any better.
it's no better. So he will be answering questions online. You can also click on the chat button, I believe, where you can ask questions. And so at the end of each section, I'll stop and catch a breath and let you ask questions. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the staff at Gardner-Webb, the full-time staff, myself, Dr. Hamilton, Dr. Neal, Dr. Palermo, and Dr. Bingham, who work in the program. Also, I've probably forgotten somebody, our adjuncts, but I want to mention all of them tonight. We've got Dr. Stedman, Ramsey Church, Tillman, Todd, Zions, Bullis, Peel, Whitaker, Sumner, Pickard, Edney, Robertson, and last but certainly not least, Dr. Malia Neal. All these folks will be working with you either as your instructor or as your coach this semester. And so I appreciate them and all that they do. We all appreciate them and all that they do. So I'm going to dive right in. I'll go do an overview of the agenda to start with. What I'm going to do first tonight is cover each of the programs in terms of the different DRFs, different cohorts from MELS 602 to 605. I'll cover them by semester, and this will be your coursework and task stream requirements. That's Blackboard and task stream for each of those. And then we'll switch gears and we'll speak briefly about those of you who started in the fall of 16, moving from the 5 to 4 semester program. It'll take you 4 semesters, and then how to build your task stream and competency, your task stream competency folio, how to upload your folio if you're in 605 this semester. A reminder that no task stream portfolio competency analysis is due this semester, but if you hadn't finished last semester, we'll go over that. A reminder that your SOE and university dispositions are ratings only and do not require a narrative for the summer session. The internship shell and Blackboard that you used last semester is still available. It will be the same shell that you'll have all the way through. It won't be a new one. And in that shell, of course, we have drop boxes if you'd like comments from your clinical coach only. They're the only person that can see that. Or if you want to use it as peer review or other folks to see it, me or some of the other folks, you can use discussion board. And then the last thing we'll cover tonight is clinical coach visits. So let's go ahead and get started with our first group. And this will be the Spring 17-5 full semester master's program. We go to new share and task stream. All right, so I'm gonna click on Spring 17. I'm in a student view, so it'll look just like yours as soon as it opens. I'm getting emails. Dr. Hamilton, if you could email Dr. Whitaker, she's having trouble getting in. You might be able to do that. All right, so if you
I'll take care of that.
In the spring of 17, and you were in the regular 5-semester master's and licensure program, last semester you had to do the APSEL, your competency analysis, and your School of Ed dispositions, along with 12 competencies from your competency folio. If you have not done those things, you need to get them done as soon as possible. Please remember that your competency analysis is your self-reflection on how well you did on the 12 competencies you put in your folio last semester. So let's switch over to that. Let's go to folios and web pages and look at that folio quickly, if it will open for me. There it goes. And so you should have a competency 17 folder that you uploaded. If you didn't, we're going to teach you how to do that in just a few minutes. We're going to show you how to load that folio. If you didn't, you were to do the first 12 of these competencies here, you were to put a proof of competency in and write a brief description of what you did along with the actual proof itself. For example, for communication, a screenshot of the email permission from your principal was a good one to put in that one. So you were to do the first 12 if you started in the spring and in the regular 5-semester program. After you did those 12, you were to request comments from your coach if they told them they were good. Then you were to go back to your regular DRF portfolio and do competency analysis where you rated yourself on how well you did. And so that's the relationship between the two. Some of my interns, unfortunately, sent me their competency analysis, but they hadn't put anything in their competency folio. So I had no way, so I had to send it back for revision. So understand, please, that competency analysis is your self-evaluation of how you did on your folio. So if we go back to our regular DRF portfolio, and the reason we call it the DRF portfolio is because that's its name, DRF portfolio. If we go back to that, again, we see that last semester we reviewed the APSEL, competency analysis, and SOE dispositions. This semester for you folks, you will only have the APTEL. You will not have any dispositions to do. You will not have any competency analysis. You will complete, however, the other 9 competencies for a total of 21 that you didn't do last semester in your competency folio. Let me say that again. The 2 things that are due for you in task stream this semester are the APTEL, the completed APTEL, and the remaining 9 competencies that you did not do in the first round in your competency folio. So that's what's due for you this semester. All right, let's switch over to our spring 17 3-semester add-on licensure folks. Okay, spring 17 add-on licensure folks. All right, the difference for you folks last semester was you were due the APSEL and the APTEL, your regular competency analysis, but it was on all 21. You were to do all 21 since you're in a 3-semester program and you have to do 3 rounds of 21 competencies. You had to do all 21 last semester. So understand that if you didn't get all 21 in last semester, you need to go ahead and finish those up quickly because you do another round this semester. So if you're a 3-semester person that started in the fall, you should have done 21 competencies last semester. You'll do 21 more this semester. You will also do the OMA, and you also have your School of Ed dispositions. And remember, these dispositions can be done at any time. There's no deliverables for them. It's not like competency analysis. You have to do something. You have to put your competencies in your competency folio. For School of Ed dispositions, you just go in and rate yourself. And again, in the summer, there are no narratives. You just give yourself a rating in your School of Ed disposition. So to summarize, for you folks who are 2nd semester of your 3-semester add-on licensure program, this semester you're due the OMA, your School of Ed dispositions, and 1 full round of 21 competencies uploaded in your competency folio. So that's what's due for you folks who started in the fall. All right. Okay. All right. Dr. Hamilton is working on the questions. And so if you have those, make sure that you log into chat or use Q&A, and he's answering those questions as I go. All right, so I'll move on then to the fall 16 folks. Now, I'll start out with the full 5 semester people. Spring. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch views over to reviewer. Okay, fall 16. And we'll use Shauna's. Let's see if it's going to give us what we want. Oh yeah, so here we go. So if you're a fall 16 person in the regular program, you will be in MELS 603 this semester as well. Again, you'll do the OMA and you'll do School of Ed dispositions. You'll do 12 competencies in your competency folio this semester. Again, this is for the full 5 semester people that started in the fall. By now, you should have done 1 full round of competencies, so you will do 12 this semester. You did 12, then 9, and this is your 3rd semester, you do 12 again. I would suggest that you can do more than that 12 if you'd like to. The schedule is 12-9, 12-9, and then 21 in the last semester. If you'd like to get ahead of the game, might not be a bad idea to go ahead and do all 21 this semester, or as many as you can. But again, if you are in the fall 16 regular 5 semester program, your requirements this semester are the OMA and your School of Ed dispositions and a minimum of 12 competencies in your competency folio. All right. Now, let's talk about people who started in the add-on licensure program in the fall that started in the 5. If you started in the 5 and want to stay in the 5 semester program, you will be on the same track as I just mentioned. You will do your OMA this summer, you will do 12 competencies, and you will do your SOE dispositions. Now, if you would like to switch over to the 5 semester program, let me do a new share here and look at what it would take for you to switch over. All right, so if you started in the fall of 16, your 1st semester, you did MEL 601, you did the APSEL. This past spring, you did the APTEL in your dark semester. All right, if you want to accelerate in the summer, you'll be taking 603. You'll need to make sure that you do the OMA, task 1 of the CAP, task 1 and 2 of the SKIP, and a whole round of competencies. That would be what you would need to do if you want to accelerate. Again, if you don't want to accelerate, if you want to stay in the 5, you simply do the OMA, your dispositions, and 12 competencies. If you want to accelerate, you do the OMA, CAP 1, SKIP 1 and 2, a whole round of competencies, and your dispositions. So that's the difference. And then this is the application that you would file with Dr. Neal at the end of the summer, and it has the dates on here. And then you would take, instead of having a dark semester in the fall, you would take 605 in the fall. This application can be found under intern materials on our Blackboard page for interns. And so let me go to that right quick. New share. There we go. Let me go back to the desktop, share screen, minimize that, send that down. Go to intern materials. And there we go. Under intern materials on your internship shell, it says switch to 5 semester to 4 semester application. There's been some confusion that you could get finished in 3 semesters. You can't get finished in 3 if you started in the fall and didn't accelerate from the very beginning. If you started in the 3 semester program in the fall, you can. But if you started in the 5 and stayed in it and had a dark semester this past semester, then it's going to take you 4. And there's the application to do that there on that page. All right, so that's for folks who started in the fall. All right. Both regular, add-on, and add-on accelerated. So I've covered all of those. Now, spring 16, folks, you're still in the legacy program. On our internship shell where it says information, I have put the dates. And I've put it 2 ways. Here is a downloadable file that you can print, and here's what it says. So here are your dates for the summer. So let's go over these things to start with. These are folks who are tomorrow will be in 605. May 28th, if you haven't done so, you got to apply for graduation. That doesn't matter if you're regular or add-on. Whether you're graduating or just completing, you have to apply for graduation. And it says it will likely indicate that you've not completed the requirements for completion. Ignore that and move on. You will not have its completion until the end. So make sure you fill out everything there. By July 3rd, all artifacts, evidence artifacts, and components must be submitted. Those should be done by July 10th, and that will give you a week to get any rewrites done that you need to do. July 17, must be resubmitted by then, and by July 23rd. Now, I told my folks, I've got a section of 605. I told mine that by July 17th, I'd like to see everything done, but we're going to give you to July 23rd, and that means everything. That means your dispositions, your site supervisor dispositions, your certification of competency done by your site supervisor, the clinical coach certification of competency. So let's go look at that right quick. Let's see. So let's look at spring 16. Continue. Okay, so that means by June 23rd or by June 3rd, you got to have all your evidence artifact. And what that means is the app cell, including the final one, the apptel, the skip, the OMA, the CAP, the SOP, all of those have to be in for the first grading by July 3rd. I believe that's the correct date. Then by the 17th, if possible, 23rd at the very latest, you must have your internship log with 80 hours this semester, your final competency folio. Now remember, you 605s, you only have to do 1 round of 21 competencies. It should be in there and uploaded. Your licensure evaluation will be done by Dr. Neal. Your competency is done by your site supervisor and by your clinical coach. You need to check with your site supervisor now to make sure they still have their username and password or task stream so that they can go about completing that evaluation for you. If they don't, email me, DLAMB, D-L-A-M-B, and I'll make sure that they get their username and password if they have lost it, misplaced it, or if it's not working. If we have to reactivate their account, email me, DLAMB, at gardner-web.edu, same as your email extension. And I will make sure that your site supervisor has the necessary things that they need. You have 6 dispositions to do, 3 university dispositions and 3 SOE dispositions. Remember, no narrative involved with these. Just give yourself a rating. And then your site supervisor has to do 3 dispositions as well. So please make sure that you have done your 6. You have encouraged your site supervisor to do theirs. If they don't have their username and password, you get in touch with me and I'll get that to them. Now, so that should be all the things. So let me read through my list here to make sure I haven't missed anything for you folks. In MELS 605 this semester, you're to do your Blackboard coursework for your instructor to include discussion boards, assignment, and peer reviews. Please don't forget to keep up with your class. Don't be one of those people who gets all their task stream work into deadline but forgot to do all their coursework. Your task stream DRF portfolio evidence artifact requirements are to complete and submit for evaluation this semester, everything you haven't done. The last 2 things that were due in terms of components were CAP E and SIOP F, and then to submit your final CAP and SIOP, and that's done by July 3rd. Your competency folio requirement again is 1 total round of 21 competencies. That's communication through visionary. Anything below visionary you don't have to do, like digital learning or any of those things in professional dispositions. You do communication down through visionary for your 21, 1 round. Once you have that done, you are to upload that for evaluation. Basically what you do at that time, you copy your folio over to your competency folio over to your DRF portfolio so that your coach can grade it pass fail. There is a place right here, final competency folio. If you click on it and follow directions, it'll show you how to upload that. If you need help, we have a video on how to do that. You can find that. It's on the agenda for tonight. It's also on the it will be, if it's not there, I believe it is. You can find that video on intern material on your intern shell. Let me make sure it's there. Let's see. Zoom video links. Yep, right there it is. Please follow this video to upload your competency folio and task stream. If you can't do it on your own, that's fine. We have the video here for you under Zoom links under your Blackboard shell on how to upload that thing. All right, so make sure that you are able to do that you move it over once it is complete. Task stream DRF portfolio SOE School of Ed dispositions 1, 3, and 5, and university dispositions semesters 1, 3, and 5. That's your 6. Make sure you've completed and submitted those by July 3rd. Your site supervisor complete certification of competency and site supervisor dispositions semesters 1, 3, and 5. I've got on the agenda by July 10th. Make sure that you've attempted it by then so that we can get it done by the 17th if there's a problem. Email me, and there's my, again on the agenda is my email address if there's a problem. Your clinical coach will complete the other half of your competency certification and the university dispositions by July 10th. Try to get your DRF portfolio internship log up by the 3rd, the 10th at the latest, and coaches will evaluate it by the 10th. And the last thing that will happen is Dr. Neal will do your licensure evaluation by July 28th. All right, so those are the things that are due for you folks who are in MELS 605. So that covers everybody that we've got, all the different programs that you're in. Again, refer back to your agenda if you have a problem. I will upload that agenda where it says information right here. I'll see if I can do that while we're talking. So here are your dates for your 605 people, also under information. I'm going to do file and see if I can add the agenda for this evening. There it is, open. And it's going to be all right. Let's see if it'll upload. There it is. All right, so there's your agenda. So if I've gone too fast or you don't remember what your requirements are for this semester, just look at the agenda and it has all of them on there. All right, so that's the first section where we've covered all the things that are due. I'm guessing Dr. Hamilton is keeping up with all the questions. So I will move into Roman numeral number 2, which is, I want to reiterate, if you're in the fall of 16 add-on, you started in the 5-semester program and you'd like to accelerate, you cannot get through in 3 semesters because you had a dark semester this semester. You can get through in 4. So that means that, again, you will need to, this semester, you'll need to do all the OMA, task 1 of the CAP, task 1 and 2 of the SKIP, do your dispositions. If you can do all of those things, and then you would fill out that application, then you can take 605 in the fall. And you would have the remainder of your SKIP and CAP to do, as well as all the PSYOP would be due in the fall. You'd also need to make sure you do a whole round of competencies this summer. You've only got 1 round done so far. You do another whole round this summer, and you'll do another whole round in the fall. So that's it. And that application, again, can be found here under intern materials on our intern Blackboard shell. Let's switch over to that. You will see that application that you would need. All right, now, hopefully all of you have uploaded and have created and started uploading into your TaskStream competency folio. We have a video on how to do that. I'm going to briefly go through that process with you. And the reason why is when you log into TaskStream, before you go into a program, into your DRF, if you will go to your message board, you won't have as many things as I have in mine, but you will have a competency template in there. If you click on that if you don't have a competency template, you need to email me and let me know, and I'll be able to upload you one. But if you have not loaded your competency folio, you only have to do it once. Don't do it again. If you've done it one time, that's good. But if there's somehow it slipped through the cracks and you didn't load your competency folio, make sure that you go through the message center, click on competency template or competency 17, find the live link at the bottom of the page, and then you'll get a beautiful picture of the Beeson Gate where I drive in to go to my office in the morning. And you will click on the copy button and proceed with copying. And then at that time, you'll be directed to your folios and web pages, and there it will be. And once you open it up, you can start adding your competency proofs. Now, one of the reasons I went through all that to share with you is that you see these blue buttons on the screen now over here to upload work. This has become somewhat of an issue for folks. You don't just use the attachments button. There is a reason why there are different buttons here. And let me go over those with you. As you try to upload different types of media, you have to match the media with the button. Text and image button, the first one that you see, that would be for PDF forms. That would also be for screenshots, whether you've got a modern laptop where you just hit the Windows button and the print screen that takes a picture and puts it in your picture folio or creates a subfolder for screenshots in your file manager. Or if you got an older version like Windows 7 where you have to use a snipping tool, no matter which way you get a screenshot, it's what's known as a PNG file. You have to use text and image to upload it. So PDFs, PNGs, which are screenshots, and also JPEGs, which are pictures. Now, Problem has arisen is folks embed pictures into Word documents and then try to use the attachment button, as they should, to upload Word documents or Excel spreadsheets. However, if your document has a picture in it, do not try to use the attachment button to upload it. It will give you an error message that you've exceeded your character limit. That's because every one of those pixels in that picture counts as a character, and it way overloads what TaskStream is available or are capable of doing under that. So if you have a Word document with a picture in it, you can upload it under text and image. It will not allow you to upload it using an attachment button. So you use the attachment button for Word documents without pictures or without embedded PDFs. Same thing, or without embedded screenshots. If you have screenshots, whether they're embedded in a Word document, if you have PDFs, even though they're embedded in a Word document, or if you have pictures, if it's embedded in a Word document, you have to use text and image to upload it. That's become a problem. A lot of you, when you're uploading evidence artifact work as your proof, you have those things embedded in your narrative in that Word document, and it won't upload. So make sure you use the proper button. And then the other one is if you have a link, like to a peer review that you did on YouTube, there's a live button there for links. If you have an MP4 video, you have to use that button. And the last one is if you are using PowerPoint, Prezi, or Sway, which is a Microsoft product, to create slideshows of different kinds, you have to use the slideshow button. So make sure that you match the media to the appropriate way to upload it. Some of you we've already found out, sometimes you're able to upload things or you think you've uploaded it, but we're not able to download it and read it on our end. So make sure you use the appropriate button when you are uploading your competency proofs. Now, one last thing on competencies before I move on from that. We'd like to see growth in these competencies. As I tell my interns, if your proof for your first round of communication competency is email, like email permission from your principal to start a PLC, to kick off your app sale, that's great. But if I see an email in the third round of competency for communication, you better be the webmaster. I need to see growth. You can't just show me 3 of the same things. I need to see growth in the rounds of competencies that you're doing. That's why we space them out and have you do them in rounds. You're supposed to show development in your growth as an executive leader in those competencies as you go through those rounds. So don't do 3 communications and then 3 conflict management and 3. Do them one at a time and show more depth as each round progresses. All right. So that's competency folio. All right. How to build your TaskStream competency folio. How to upload it. Again, I just showed you that. There's a video on how to do that. You would go to your work page. Let me see if I can. Spring 16. MELS Spring 16. Aha. So under the licensure section where it says final competency folio for you MELS 605 students this semester, once you get your competency folio done, if you'll come to your work page here, you would be able to upload your competency folio here. And we have a video on how to go about doing that. You would do attachment, upload from computer, click on an artifact created in TaskStream like a folio, lesson, etc. You click on that. You select your category from web folios, competencies 2016, 10-3-16, that would be the one. And there it is. Save and return. Submit work. And there it is. Are you ready to submit your work? Okay. All right, I have just submitted mine. And there it is. As you can see, I just uploaded it. Now, if you couldn't follow along with that, which is pretty quick, again, that video on how to do that can be found under intern materials on your internship Blackboard page. How to upload your final competency folio just like I just did. All right. Please remember that in terms of your competency analysis, there is none due this semester, as I already told you. And remember that competency analysis is a self-reflection on how well you did on your portfolio. So make sure, don't submit your competency analysis until you have done your portfolio. This summer, as I said earlier, there's no narratives due with any of your dispositions, only ratings for yourself. All right. So let's go back and look. That should cover all of our task stream issues, and my time is actually good. About 3 minutes ahead of the game here. All right. Let me go to your internship shell. All right, so this is your internship shell. So when you sign in to Web Connect, you won't have as many courses listed as I do, but among those courses is going to be your executive internship leadership, executive leadership internship shell. If you've not been using this, this is a good place for you to come to get information. Under this, I have information like all of your due dates, especially for you 605s this semester. Here are all your dates. And if you're not sure about what I covered tonight on the agenda is here. You can go back and reread what's due for your group this semester. That's under information. Under intern materials, I've got some neat things for you there. A copy of an internship log, task stream competency folio required submissions, where you can find your competencies in the 6 evidence artifacts, where you can find open-ended competency, where you can find those in the list of clinical internship activities. I've got a graphic organizer example, and I've also got the switch from the 5 to 4 semester program application. All these things are under intern materials. Under Zoom video links, we've got some of my old things that I covered last semester with you. If you're my intern, you can go back and revisit those. I've also got how to upload your competency folio and task stream, what I just covered. You just saw me go through that. I've got that video. You can go in. I think Dr. Hamilton did it. It's probably a lot clearer because he did it. But if you can't follow the process that I just went through, you can. It's a just 3 or 4 minute YouTube video that he made for you doing what I just did. And then I have here all of the individual programs that you're in. You know, in terms of what semester you're in. So you find where you are. For example, MELS 603, if you're taking that this summer, whether you're in the 3 or 5 semester program, it doesn't matter. If you click on that, it has a place then for you to upload your different tasks of the OMA, and you can get feedback directly from your clinical coach. Only your clinical coach, if you use the drop boxes here, only your clinical coach can see this. So you find your program, click on it, and you can upload work that's due this semester. You can upload that work for your clinical coach to help you with that work. And you can communicate. Now, if you want to use it as a peer review, for example, if you're If you're getting ahead and want to get some peer reviews from folks, or if you want me or anybody can go in and see this. It's in discussion board format, and you can see everything is there. You just drop it in, and we'll give you feedback, and you can see how many I have this semester. This is just me. I gave feedback on 31 on 31 different. You can kind of see how it went. 31, then 20, then 22, 19, and then it went back up with the AppTel. The whole idea here is we give you feedback and help you, and you kind of as you catch on to what we're doing, you need less and less help, and you become better at figuring out for yourself. And so that's kind of what happened this semester. I was very pleased to see that it was pretty linear in the graph. A lot more folks needed help with the first task, and then fewer and fewer needed help as we went through it, and that's good. But that help is always available to you, and I'll get back to you same day on these. So you can either go straight to your coach, or you can come in here, and I'll definitely give you feedback, and other people may give you feedback as well. I mean, you see there, we had a lot of folks that chimed in on these, and you can use this for peer review. If you're not, with people that you may not be in your group right now, but you value their opinion, they've given you advice in the past, and so this is a way for you to get help with your evidence artifact work. I also have all the handbooks in here, and so this is a good way for us to communicate and for you to communicate with your coach. It gives us a record of what you're doing. We can see not only the amount of feedback that's being given, but also the quality of the feedback that's being given. So that's what this is for. You have this in addition to the into your class Blackboard. I want to go over a class Blackboard right quick for the 605s this semester, since I'm one of the instructors this semester in 605. Make sure that we give you just another minute or two of time. I do weekly sessions with mine. I also have the dates here. Just as a reminder, if you are a full-time online student, not seated, you need to do your enrollment verification activity now. Whether you're in 605 or any of the classes, if you're online only, go ahead and go in on your course overview page and do your enrollment verification activity. I do all of my assignments in one place. Sometimes folks do theirs under the weekly sessions. They do the drop boxes there. I just do a general drop box. And please remember, these are the evidence artifacts that are due for you this semester. Cap E, SIOP F, and then the final cap and the final SIOP. Discussion boards, I do all of my activities under discussion board. Make sure you check those. Mine look like a lot, but I have a choice each week of discussion boards. I see somebody's already done one for me since I have mine already opened up. I do a choice. I give three each week, and mine can choose just one. They only have to do one. I give them a choice of three and let them self-direct whether they want to do a leadership one, a supervision one, or just a general one each week. But your instructor may be different. But the point is, make sure you check and see what the process is in terms of your discussion boards or activities. But understand, 605s, you got to keep up with your regular classwork. We've had folks, unfortunately, who made the mistake of thinking once they got to 605, as long as they got their portfolio done, that they were fine. They weren't. Make sure that you understand you have a regular class this semester that has assignments and has discussion boards, and make sure you keep up with those. All right. Okay. Now, the last thing, and this is, I'm speaking to the clinical coaches who have joined us, and I'm thankful for all of you who have. And I'll use me for an example. I visited all of my interns. I only had about 42. So I visit all my interns this past spring. I will not be making visits with them unless they request a visit, and I'm making one tomorrow and I'm making one Wednesday. I'm making 2 this week on request. And for whatever reason, I don't ask why. If you want me to come or if you want your clinical coach to come, they'll show up. So if you're having problems getting your competency done or your dispositions done, let your coach know and see if they can come out and maybe meet with your principal or help with that process. And so I'm also going to make a couple visits to some folks who are a little behind. And so that's the word to clinical coaches. If you visit students in the spring and they're doing fine this summer and they don't request for you to come out and visit with them, it's okay to do a Zoom session with them. But if they're behind or if they want you to come, then you need to go and visit with them this summer. So as I said, I've had 2 students who already contacted me, and so I'll be making visits the next 2 days. Please, if I'm your internship supervisor or clinical coach, whichever you prefer, in the new program it's clinical coach. With you 605s, you're still internship supervisor. Regardless of what you call me, if you just call me and I'll come. And so it's that way with all the coaches. They will show up. Otherwise, if you're a continuing intern of mine, I'll see you in the fall. I'm going to visit probably all of my 605s. I'm going to visit with them. I think July 18th in Raleigh, I'll see most of mine on that day. So I'm coming to see Dr. Stedman then. So coaches, make sure that you visit the folks that need to be visited. Otherwise, it's okay to Zoom. I see Dr. Hamilton has joined us back again. Dr. Hamilton?
I've been typing my knuckles off. So here's a couple of questions that you might want to cover, and you may have. I've been typing and trying to answer everything I can. One of them was about due dates for this summer. Mm-hmm. And maybe you went over I guess everybody needs to have an idea. Of course, summer is a short semester. Yeah. It's only 10 weeks.
Yeah, here's the official one. If they will go to their internship shell in Blackboard where it says information, I have copied and pasted it directly from Dr. Neal. He put this out over the weekend, and so I have conscripted it. So if you will go to your executive leadership internship shell, I'll read through that again, and you go to the page that says, tab that says information. I have put it in as a document that you can print out and post on the wall, and I've also put it in where you can just read it. I put it in both ways. And so here are the dates for the 605 and 699 scholars. They're right here. May 28, apply for graduation. Doesn't matter whether you're add-on or regular masters. Everybody has to apply for graduation. July 3rd, all evidence artifact work has to be in to start with. They'll send it back by the 10th. If it needs revision, you got to have it back in by the 17th. We'd like to see all of your other things like dispositions and competency and all that done by the 17th. But the drop deadline for everything, even if it's not you, even if it's your site supervisor didn't do their disposition and competency, drop dead day is July 23rd. Again, if you can't get them to do it, let your coach know or let me know, and somebody will be there to see why it's not getting done or what we can do to help get that done. But it's all got to be done by July 23rd. That's why I said I've imposed the date of the early deadline of the 17th for my people. Don't make my hair fall out, trying to beat challenging the deadline here.
So that's for the 605 and 699. So for those that are in 602, 3, and 4, I guess we should say contact your coach about deadlines for things in there.
Week 8.
Yeah, you need to shoot. Yeah, week 8.
Week 8.
In terms of your evidence artifacts or anything that's in your DRF, week 8 at the latest.
Yeah. Week 8. That's your drop deadline is week 8. Week 8.
That's about middle of July.
Well, I'm gonna let me do that for you right quick. And so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 7, 8, 9. All right. So week 8 is your drop deadline, and that is July 9th. That's the week of Sunday, July 16th. Whatever day you have class that week, that's the date. That's your drop deadline.
Yeah.
That gives you,
Right.
I always give my students the week of the 4th off, and that gives you 1 week after that to get it done, and then it's done. I mean, if it's not in by that week 8, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
So
another question, and I've already given an answer, so if it was wrong, we need to tell everybody. There's some of them saying they don't have access to the internship shell, so I told them just to shoot you an email letting you know that.
And
that way,
Emily is on standby. She'll put you in there immediately.
Yeah.
So if you've not had access, or if it's not shown up yet, let me know. Email me, D Lamb, and I will get you in your internship shell.
Good.
And so that you can get in there and access all these materials.
Yeah.
The links to both how to upload and create your competency folio and how to download it for evaluation are in tonight's agenda as well. Dr. Hamilton did both of those videos. You need to thank him for doing those. So those are available. Those videos, they're both here in Blackboard, and they are for tonight, and that agenda was mailed out to you. So those links are live in that document if you need to, a shortcut to get to those. If you don't have your internship shell in Blackboard yet, you do have those, but we will get you that. She's usually same day service on that, so we'll get you in the Blackboard shell immediately. Just let me know.
The other question, and it may have already been covered. Someone said they didn't fully understand the competency analysis. Can that be shown in task stream? And
Yes.
this particular student was a fall 16 full master's student.
All right, fall 16. All right, so when you click on competency analysis and you go to the form, it may take a second to load here. There it is. All right. And so they're all here. All 21 of them are here. And simply what you do is you give yourself a rating on how well you did. And let me go back on the ones on the competencies that you did this semester. Let me switch views here. Let me go to evaluator and look at that view. So we're looking at fall 16. Mhm. Okay. All right. Let me try another one. It has them here, but it doesn't show how to do the rating, and that's what I'm looking at for you right quick. Let me pull up.
You can go in under author. There
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
going to do that right now, but I don't have a. I'm going to have to go to spring 17. Won't be a problem though. It'll look exactly the same.
Yeah, it'll be the same form.
It'll be the same form. All right. So what you get when you click on that, view, edit your responses, and there they are. And it's just met, not met. And again, you don't have to do a narrative this semester. You may not even have a box for a narrative for this semester. You're not supposed to. Remember, this is from last semester. That's why I was looking for one to show you that this semester does not have a box. It just has whether you met it or whether you didn't meet it. Again, this is your self-reflection on how well you did on your competencies. So for change management, if you have if you've done all of those things, then you're a met. It's no big deal if if you're in the program along the way. Now, if you're a spring 16, you should be met by now because you only had to do one round and that's it. So you should be met in all of these things in your self-assessment. And hopefully when you upload yours, your coach will tell you, yeah, that's good, or no, you got to work on that. And that's really where the you know the reason that you might get this sent back or get for revision on this one is if you put competencies in your folio, you're 21 and they weren't good enough and you didn't request comments, that's the place to find out that they're not good enough, is requesting comments on your folio. Don't you know don't come over here to your analysis and then it gets sent back for revision, or you don't pass your analysis because your work, you didn't go back and review, or didn't ask for comments on your folio, or got comments and didn't go back and revise your work. So this should just be a rubber stamp. If you did what you were supposed to do in your competency folio, upload your competencies, request comments, your coach said, yeah, they're all good, then this is just a validation, for you to look and say, yeah, I did that, or, these are the things that I did, especially for you 605s, because it's a one-shot deal. Now, you other folks who are along the way, you may not meet them all yet, but by the time you get to 605, you should have accomplished all these things that it says under each one of these. For example, under communications, knowledge of the use of communication skills, the ability to collect and assimilate information, ability to apply communication skills in distributing oral and written communication, down the line. You may not be but competent on 2 or 3 of those things to start with, and then so you'd be a not met. But by the time you get to 605, you should be able to accomplish all of those things and show evidence that you accomplished all of those things. So that's what competency analysis is. It's a review for you and a self-assessment of where I am right now in building competency in all these 21 areas of competency.
Yeah, and there's one other question, Dr. Lamb, that I think is a pretty good question too. It says, can you explain the artifact numbers and the open-ended piece for the competencies that are in the competency folio? Remember, at the top of each one, it'll say artifact 1, 6, and then open-ended. That's probably a good one to cover.
All right, so when you go in task stream, and you go to your folio, and let me see if it'll let me go to my folio here. It's going to take a second. It wants me to submit my work. No, I'll submit later. There we go. All right. So you go to your folio and web pages, and you're going to do communication. And it tells you where your 3 have to come from. It says it has to come from artifact 1, 6, and 1 open-ended. All right. So that would be app, cell, SOP, and 1 open-ended. So the evidence artifacts are numbered just like they are in your DRF. For example, if you're just open up your work page in your DRF and you'll see the app cell is first, then the app tel, then the OMA. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever order that yours are in, that's what this means. So evidence artifact 1 is always the app cell, always stop. So that's how you know, as you just look at your DRF and you'll see how they're listed for you. They're actually a little bit different for the legacy program than the new program. So I'm not just going to say they're always this order. In the legacy program, it goes app cell, app tel, OMA, skip, cap, sol. No, it goes in the legacy program. It goes app cell, app tel, skip, OMA, cap, sol. In the new program, it goes app cell, app tel, OMA, skip, cap, sol. 3 and 4 have been switched in the program. And so to make sure that you get the numbering correct, just look at how it works out in your portfolio. So again, for you 605s, number 3 for you is the skip. For everybody else, number 3 is the OMA. For you legacy people, number 4 is the OMA. For everybody else that's not in 605, number 4 is the skip. We switched those two in the program so that folks would always have OMA in the summer when scheduling is done. So, but that's what that means. So communication, so that's going to be app cell, SOP, and 1 open-ended. Now, if you'll remember, you can go back to your internship shell and under intern materials, if it'll load, there we go. I have mapped for you where you will find those. The competencies found in the 6 evidence artifacts and where your open-ended are. So those documents look like this. Let me pull them up outside of TaskStream so it won't crash on me here. And so what I've done is I've created a little cheat sheet for you on both of these, on where to go find your competencies. If it'll open, there we go. No, that may have been a mistake there. There it is. All right. So where it says 1, 6, and open-ended, this is where you find your open-ended. So if you're looking for a communication competency that's open-ended, if you address a large or small group of adults, that would be an example of an open-ended communication competency. All you need is like the agenda, a flyer, or maybe a picture or a video of you addressing a large or small group of adults. This could be something like a Title I meeting, a PTA meeting, an IEP meeting. Any of those kinds of things would suffice as a large or small group of adults that you have addressed as a communication competency. So I have, for each of the activities that you're required to do as an intern, during your clinical experience, your 80 hours each semester, I have categorized those for you, or we have categorized those for you, so that you'll know what kind of open-ended competency that is. So you're asked to do one open-ended for each of the 21. Here's where those are. Now, you say, when it says 1 or 6, or what does that mean? Well, 1 is the app cell. So here are all of the proofs that are competency proofs that are generated by doing the app cell. And these are the competencies that they fit. 1 is communication. If you don't know what the numbers are, they're down here at the bottom. 1 is communication, 3 is conflict management, 6 is delegation, 12 is organizational ability, and so forth. And so what I've done is I've made you a cheat sheet. So these 5 different competencies can be satisfied by these things right here. And I've done that for each of the evidence artifacts, so that you can, again, I couldn't put communication in this box, and so I just put the number, just link them back to the number. And as you do these tasks or components, that's where you will find these things. So it's not going to be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. We tell you where they are. You just got to tell you. We want you to know. We're not. This is not. This is not a gag. This is not who's buried in Grant's tomb. Grant's buried in Grant's tomb. This is not some secret. We want you to know where they are, but we want you to be cognizant of when you're doing these things. Oh, I'm satisfying this competency. We want you to be competency driven. What we find is people who are competency driven as executive leaders, A, get the job, and B, are able to do the job, because you have developed competencies and not just memorized information. That's the whole notion here. So when it asks you for an evidence from artifact 1, 6, and open-ended, it's asking you from 1 for the app cell, 1 from the SOP, and 1 open-ended. Here's where you find those. Again, these 2 documents can be found here under intern materials on your Blackboard internship shell. You can find these documents. Other questions, Dr. I'm getting a lot of emails, thank goodness, from folks who need to be added to the internship shell. That's good. Okay, so.
Yep, I think we've got it. The questions have slowed down, so I think that's pretty much it.
All right, and I think I'm checking my questions that have come through. All right, I think most of these are just, they don't have the internship shell clear.
Yeah, I had several of those, and I
and so
pointed your way.
Excellent. All right, and
I do want to mention before we finish, someone asked a question about due dates, and we mentioned week 8. That is specifically for your DRF assignments. That's task stream. So if your course deadlines is up to your instructor.
That's instructor based.
Yeah, that's all instructor based. So that should happen. You should know that starting tomorrow when the semester starts. But it's week 8 for anything that's in task stream, because our policy says whatever is assigned in task stream for the semester must be completed in that semester. So depending on what course you're in this summer, you have task stream deadlines, which is week 8, but you also have course deadlines if you're in a course this summer. So talk with your instructor about that. So.
But again, week 8 will give you that 2 weeks that you need, the week for them to send it back to revision, and the week that you get it back before the end of the semester. I'd love to be able to tell you that you can wait till the very last week, but you can't. You've got to have that. We always have to have that 2 week at the end, just in case it gets boomeranged back. And so it's always going to be, in the summer, it's always going to be week 8. It's always going to be week 12 in the regular semester, whatever week 12 is. And, we can't give you a date because everybody's class is a different time. You may be seated, you may be online. Even in my online classes, I do them on Wednesday nights, but some people don't do it that way. And so that week, so it's going to be the week of July 16th whatever your regular class day is that week, that it's due by your class that week.
Yeah.
Because we got to have that 2 weeks at the end. So it's the 12th week during the regular semester, the 8th week during the summer. So, and again, your instructor determines, just like I showed you mine, my discussion boards and my drop boxes, the drop boxes, they're governed by the task stream rules. They got to be in there by week 8. Discussion board is ruled by me just by the end of the course, week 10. That's got to be in for my folks by Wednesday, August the 2nd. Difference. But I don't have as an instructor, I don't have the authority to tell you, oh, you can just whenever you want to. No, you've got to keep up with the task stream deadlines. So that's why I have mine separated. I don't like to mix my two together. All of my task stream stuff goes in assignments. All of my course stuff goes in discussion board for that very reason. It's confusing to me and to students if I have different deadlines on the place where you put the same work. And so I know assignment Dropbox, that stuff's all due by week 8. Anything in discussion board, you got to the last class to do that. Makes it easier for students. That's just simply the way that I do it. I'm not smart enough to try to remember it unless I had it separated like that. But again, Dr. Hamilton's right. There's 2 different things here. It's your task stream work and it's your coursework. They have different deadlines. Got more things coming in. Let me check them before we go. Internship shell. Good. Internship folio. Okay.
I just want to remind everybody that this has been recorded. So if you have classmates that mentioned missing it, we will be sending a link out via email to all the MELS folks, so you can enjoy this again if you need to watch it again, or you can share that with someone who wasn't able to attend. Also, if this has been beneficial to you, send me or Dr. Lamb an email. We can certainly schedule other town halls so that everyone gets a chance to ask questions and kind of get everybody on the same page at the same time. So send us any feedback if this has been beneficial and you'd like for us to do another one, perhaps maybe at the end of the semester, or certainly, I'm pretty sure we'll plan to do one at the beginning of the fall.
Right. We will do one. We'll do one. Our plan is each semester to kick off the semester. We'll do this because it gets us started. Like the day before the semester or the first day, the Monday that we start. We'll try to do a kickoff like this, going forward. And then your coaches will do. I will do a video with my interns next weekend. I always wait until I want you. Your coaches won't do it before you meet class one time. They want you to go to class and meet the class in case there are questions or issues or whatever that arise. And so what I always do is, since the semester starts tomorrow, later tonight, my interns will get an invite to meet with me over the weekend, and we will go over, make sure that all of them had class this week. And then we'll have an intern session this coming weekend is what we'll do.
Yeah. And
I'm guessing most coaches will do it that way. I like for mine to meet class before I meet with you. I want the instructor to take the lead, and we'll fill in from there.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions on this end.
Well, I've looked at all the emails. They're all just needing to get into Blackboard, have the internship shell. So I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Hamilton. Thank you for all the staff.
Thank you, Dr. Lynn.
Send us emails or call us if you have questions. If there's something that we didn't cover tonight, again, coaches, I encourage you a week or so into the semester to hold a general Zoom session for your interns. And again, if you visit them this semester, you can just do a Zoom over the summer. But if they're behind or if they need you, don't hesitate to go out and visit with them. We'll be glad to pay you to do that. Everybody have a good evening. Dr. Hamilton, I'll see you later as well. I'll sign off now and process this.
Everybody have a good evening.
Will be posted. I guess Dr. Hamilton will send a link out to everybody. I will post this in the internship shell under Zoom video links. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you.